Good morning, YouTube friends. Having trouble speaking this morning. Welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Karina, and I'm coming to you from the Pacific Northwest, where I live with my partner, our two kitties, and the two horses that I am going to feed. If you're new here, welcome. I hope you find this content interesting. If you are a returning viewer, welcome back. I really appreciate your support through the couple years that I've been doing this. As you can see, it is, or maybe you can see, I'm not sure, pouring down rain. It is January 10th, 2025. Normally I wait until daylight to feed horses. But I am going to go to town this morning and meet a friend for coffee. So I am going out there right now. I'm going to have to turn on my headlamp here just as soon as I get out of the light, because it is a bit of a journey up to the barn into that darkness. So stop the trash can here, turn on my light, and take the walk. So I'm just doing a real quick feed this morning. I don't know if you can see. Can you see? So I'm just going to feed them hay, just make sure that they have enough for a few hours until I can get back out here again. Fridays are often a little bit different. Fridays are normally my day off. I am covering for a colleague today, so I will be checking in periodically. And I also often have a lesson with one of my horses. And I should explain, if you are new, that my horses are Mustangs that I adopted from the Wild Horse Adoption Program. One of them is my riding horse. I'm hoping to have a trailer loading lesson with my younger Mustang today. The holidays and the weather have kind of disrupted that a bit. So hopefully we'll get to it today. And I will talk about knitting. I have a finished object for you. So I'm not sure where the boys are right now. Not in their stalls where it's dry. Probably standing out under some trees, which I kind of don't blame them. So I'm going to get feeding. Hello, YouTube friends. Welcome to the knitting portion of my podcast. Immediately, I want to share with you my finished object. So this is a hat of my own design. Get my glasses case out of the way here. It is based on how I understand a muscle burrow is knit. So basically what I did is I took a hat pattern and I knitted it from the crown down, and then I just reversed it. So it is a big tube like this. So by reversing it, when I got to a halfway point, I did the decreases in this direction. This was using the Freckled Whimsey 2024 Advent skein with a 24 stripe repeat. I do have some left, and also a Barocco non-superwash 100% wool. I haven't blocked it yet, so it's a little funny, but I have worn it a few times, and I really like it. It's a great hat. The yarn weights are fingering. I used a 2.25 millimeter needle, double point needles, which there are some ladders in this. So I don't know if you can see that on either side. So I tend to not produce ladders when I am using our magic loop technique. I'm hoping that blocking it will kind of reduce that effect and maybe make it fold into itself a little bit better. So I will try to figure that out. Other thing I've noticed is that I'm trying to fold it directly on
one of the stripe lines, and I don't think that's going to work. So I just need to stop futzing about that. And it's a great hat. It's really warm. I kind of was wearing it around this morning in the house, but then it gets too warm, so I'm going to take it off. So super fun. This was a great project. If you have the muscle burr pattern, you know, I think people love it. That's what it sounds like. People make this hat over and over again. For me, it worked just fine to, like I said, take a hat pattern that I had, just a plain hat pattern, and then knit it top down and then bottom up without breaking the, without making two hats, if that makes sense. So let's talk about, well, we can talk about this sweater. This is the first sweater I ever knit. It's made out of acrylic yarn. It's oversized. I don't remember the details about it, except the first time I made it, it was huge, so I ripped it out and knitted it again. It is still big, but it is comfortable enough, and I can wear a jacket over it, which I did. I don't remember what year I knit this. I want to say it's been about 10 years. I tend to get a lot of compliments on the sweater because I think people like the color and they like how fuzzy it is. I have thrown it in the washing machine because it's acrylic. So I keep threatening to give this sweater away because my sweater collection is growing, and I get a little overwhelmed when I have too many things. But I actually really like this sweater. I'm drinking tea. I hope you have something nice to drink. I'm drinking an herb tea. I'm going to talk about the project in this bag. It will be a new cast on, but let me talk about the things that I have been working on. So you have seen this before. I'm getting within, I think, 10 rows of completing it. This is the Flock of Flamingos cowl by Tellybean Knits. I'm using a size 4 Chowgu red lace circular needle with these fun little Advent needle stoppers. You see those? Okay. And this is a little strange. I admit, the color scheme. So this is all out of stash yarn. So what you see in front of you here are palm trees. So green palm trees, can you see that? With brown stems, and then I got distracted or stressed out or something, and I did it backwards on this section, and then I did it right again on that section. And then it's just a bunch of plain knit until you get to this section, this kind of yellow section. That is supposed to be kind of sunshine, but because both yarns are variegated, it's hard to tell. The way this cowl wears, this is going to be folded over, so I'm not particularly concerned. Camera stopped all of a sudden. It just does that. I don't know why. It's fully charged. And then this is the Flamingo section. So I've knit a lot of cowls by Tellybean Knits. I think I've knit, so I knit the Halloween one. I knit 2 holiday cowls, and now this one. So I think I'm kind of done with cowls for a while, and I'm going to focus on other projects. I think that's all I have to say about that. Hopefully that'll be a finished object next time. I don't know if you just saw the bright light. My indoor garden is right over here, and the grow lights just came on. The other works in progress is my poncho. This is a commercial made bag, obviously. One of the yarns is a commercial yarn. It's a worsted weight yarn. Sorry, I'm showing the wrong thing. Patents worsted. The poncho is out of this little booklet that my sister gave me a while ago. 24 ponchos. This is the first poncho I've knit out of it. I love ponchos. So it's this Icelandic poncho. I wasn't thrilled with the actual diamond pattern, So I used a stitch dictionary by Pacific Knits and made owls. So hopefully you can see those owls. Isn't that cool? So I made 2 rows of owls, and with a kind of strange little dog in between, because I had kind of an odd row of stitches. I haven't tried this on yet. I assume it's going to fit. It's going to go over my head just fine. Hopefully it won't be too bad on my shoulders. So the yarn, this is a local sheep farmer's yarn, Harmony Fields. I'll have details about that in my show notes. This is the color Truffle. And then also this yarn is the kind of cream colored. The colorway is called Fromage, and it is also from that same sheep farmer. So I ran out of this yarn at the end, thank goodness. I had this much left of a skein, and then I just decided to finish it with this commercial yarn. So I did purchase and I showed last week, the same 3 colors, including this color, but in that local sheep farmer's, from their sheep. The yarn is spun at Skagit Valley Mills here in the Pacific Northwest in Skagit County, which is north of me by a little bit. So hoping to, this may be a finished object next week too. We'll just see how disciplined I am. So this has been my kind of evening knitting. So we're down into the round and round part, just a stockinette stitch. And the cowl has been my morning knitting when I'm, oddly enough, a little more alert. And I do knit before I go out and feed the horses. So even though it was dark out this morning when I went out to go feed the horses, it is, I had spent a good hour knitting. And then the next time I knit, I'll probably knit this afternoon. It's raining out. I'm supposed to have a lesson, a trailer loading lesson with Bragi, my younger Mustang. We'll see if that happens. My trainer doesn't, and I don't blame her at all for this. She doesn't like to stand out in the rain and work with horses because then she's wet for the rest of the day. So I get that. Totally get that. And it's, this time of year is just, it's just a little tough in the Pacific Northwest. It's very gray, often rainy. It's muddy out. It can be a little bit, January is a hard month. So, if we decide to take it easy on ourselves, that's great. We can just start fresh in the spring, which around here we start to see signs of spring in February. So new cast on, I haven't cast on yet. So this is a bag my mom made, very simple drawstring bag. I am going to participate in Valenvent, which is a Bakery Bears sponsored or hosted knit along. I am going to use my Flexi Flips, the US 1 2.5 millimeter. Yes, that's right. This is what I use to knit this hat. Hopefully I'll solve my laddering issue. The pattern is a sock or a pair of socks, and it is meant for fingering weight. I am going to try it in this peppermint mocha 1-stripe, 7-stripe repeat from Freckled Whimsey. I got this, I think, in 2024. Let's see if she has a year on it. This is 25 or 75-25 superwash merino, 4-ply DK weight yarn. So I think I can adjust what I need to do. So looking forward to that. These are kind of, Valentine-y, festive colors. I love the colorway name, Peppermint Mocha. So I did, speaking of Freckled Whimsey, I did join the Halloween club for the last 4 yarn of the month in that club. So I'm not buying new yarn, but I figured I couldn't do too much damage by just getting 4 skeins of yarn. And I did get the, I don't think I showed it last time. So let me go get it. Be right. Okay, so this is the Halloween Club Ghosts in the Graveyard. Halloween Club number 9, 12 stripe repeat. So you can see it's very purpley and gray, which I really like. I am kind of thinking that I'm going to make another hat like this. And I'm calling this Karina's Cap, since it is, you know, just kind of a, there's not really a pattern. So that's what I am thinking of doing with this, unless I decide to save this for Sockoween. So just speaking of these caps, I mean, I'm kind of thinking of making a few of these because one can never have too many hats, stocking caps, at least in the Pacific Northwest. It's a nice way to kind of keep from getting wet, keep your hair under control, and just all of that kind of stuff in cooler, breezy weather. So, what are my plans for knitting? Well, I already talked about the Valenvent socks. So the next one, this is a deep dive into stash. I am going to cast on a sweater, and I might do it today. I do have a couple projects that are hibernating. One of them is a tank top. It's a vine tank top, but it's just not tank top weather knitting, although it would be wise to do that because by the time tank top weather knitting comes around, I would be ready for it, but I'm not doing that. I'm not, so one of the things I'm doing this year, I guess you could call it a New Year's resolution, I'm just going to try to go with my feelings rather than thinking about all the things I should be doing. It would be wise to knit the tank top because then I can wear it when it gets warm out. You know, frankly, it doesn't get warm out until about July. So, and maybe I'll have it done by then. Maybe I won't. I'm not sure. Have you heard of this pattern? It's called Briocherie by Kate Oates. I bought this pattern, could even be 2 years ago. And it's out of, I'm making it out of a sport weight yarn, which is one of the alternative yarns suggested in this pattern. That I started a Ghost Horses, which is another Caitlin Hunter pattern. It was like one of the first colorwork ones that let me show you the yarn. So in brioche, you use 2 colors. And these are my colors. So having them contrast, and the light is kind of difficult. So you can see this one's definitely a rust color. This is Cascade Heritage yarn. This one, it's hard to see because of the light, but it's blue and rust and some purple. I think it's going to work great on brioche. For color work, there just wasn't enough contrast between them. If you're new to color work, you need contrast that's like this. There is distinct differences between the colors. Oftentimes variegated yarn doesn't work that well with it. I always try it anyway. And you know, I'm the one who has to wear what I knit or not, or rip it out, and I do rip out a lot of things. But this is what I am going to do. This will be the main color. This is the contrast color. I think I already said it's Cascade yarns. Oh, it's 220 superwash is what this is. So I have plenty of yarn for this project, and it calls for a US size 3, which is 3.25 millimeters. I am using my favorite Chowgu red lace with a 80 centimeter cord. So it'll undoubtedly start out as magic loop because it is a cast on. It is a yoke down. So looking forward to this. This pattern came out in 2022, so it's possible I bought it in 2023. this bag was given to me by a friend, a graduate student friend. This is a sun-sensitive motif on it. Let me see if I can show it. And it actually turns kind of bright pink when there is solar radiation. I don't know if it would show it from my grow lights. It kind of is. It's kind of turning pink. I don't know if I can show this. Let's see here. Can you see that? Can you see how it's kind of turning pink in my grow lights? I'll just give you a peek at the garden while I'm at it. So you can see that there's definitely some growth happening there, including my little tomatoes. So back to the knitting. Let's see if I can get this camera back where it is supposed to be. There. Okay, I think you can see me. So I love this bag. One, my graduate student friend gave it to me, and gave it to me quite a long time ago. I finished graduate school in the early 2000s. And at the time, no, after graduate school, I got a puppy. Her name was Jody. I got her in 2005, and she was about a 7-week-old puppy that I got from the Humane Society. She was supposed to be a 35-pound dog. She ended up being like a 55-pound hound mix. So I thought she was a healer. So in other words, a dog that would stay close. And but she took after like the hound part that wants to explore and run. So it took a really long time to really long time, like at least a decade, to figure things out with her. It just really helped a lot. Like and she was an only dog. She lived till she was 15. That's why I'm referring to her in the past tense. And I lost her in 2020, in August of 2020. So I still miss her. She just had so much spirit and so much heart. And I just admired her wanting to explore. However, she wasn't always, because she was like that, she wasn't always safe. And I felt like I always had to constantly watch it out for her well-being. It was like having, I don't have kids, but those of you who do, it was like having a super adventurous 5-year-old that has no sense of traffic, of, how they might fall down and hurt themselves really badly. So I was constantly having to watch her, which got on her nerves, got on my nerves, but truly, she was a great dog. And I, like I said, I still miss her. I love our kitties and am so happy to have them. They are a very different energy than a hound mix dog. I didn't mean to go off on a tangent, but I love animals, as you are aware if you've been following this podcast for a while. So and that just kind of brings me into kind of horse stuff and life stuff. So if that is it for the knitting. So if you don't care about the horse stuff and the life stuff, I'll see you next time. And thanks for tuning into this. So for the horse stuff, I took Odin to a clinic last Sunday. I think I mentioned it in the last episode. It's called a working equitation clinic, and it's from the same trainer that did the jump clinic. But this one was more working with obstacles. So one of the challenges, first of all, getting in the horse in the arena with all these strange obstacles, and then getting them to perform these maneuvers. So one of them was to take a long pole out of a barrel, hold it like maybe a jousting pole would be a good way to describe it, and then you spear a rubber ring, bring it up, and carry it to the next barrel and drop the pole and the ring in that barrel. So, which was fine. Odin was fine with the barrel. He was okay with it. He didn't really like having this long pole beside him. But what really bothered him was the thing that the ring was sitting on. It was sitting on a plywood cutout of a bull. And Odin apparently does not like cows. So Eduardo, the plywood bull, was his nemesis, and I had a really hard time getting him to do that. Some of the other things he did great. He did great turning around barrels. He did great going over a bridge, which is really hard for some horses. He did really great weaving through some poles. He did okay going through this kind of like, if you can imagine like a real estate sign that has, a real estate signs. It has like a bar where the real estate sign hangs on. Well, this was a little bit taller, and it had a set of jingle bells that you kind of had to bring your horse in and then stop and then ring the bells. He did okay at that, even though I accidentally rang the bells that when it was right next to his ear, which was not very nice. Had to back out of that, go to another barrel, stop, pick up a jug, show it to the judge, like, hey, judge, and then put it back down. We had to go to it through another set and then pick up like a cone on top of a post and transfer it over to the other post. So all that kind of stuff. It was pretty good fun and games. Another one he did not like was opening and closing a gate. And you can imagine, if you're riding a horse, that it is a really useful skill to be able to sidle up to a gate, open the latch, have your horse kind of side pass through it, turn around, and be able to close the gate without having to dismount or have the gate swing open and let all the cows or the sheep or whatever out that you're trying to keep in the gate. Well, he didn't like that either. So we got to practice some stuff, and it was super fun. It was a good. There were 2 other riders with me, and they did great. So that was really fun, and I'm really glad I did it. It has been, I keep saying, we had 100 days of rain in the month of December. So I haven't been able to do as much. I've been trying to take some like dry periods and do some stuff with Odin. I haven't worked with Bragi that much. And then, of course, I have a joke for you. What do you call the first sunny day after several days of rain? Monday. That is exactly what happened. So it was all rainy last weekend, and then which was the last day of our vacation, our 2-week holiday vacation. And then on Monday, there's the sun, and it was sunny Monday through yesterday. Today's, of course, my first day off. So I don't know. It's funny, the weather patterns, how it works like that. It's a good thing I like knitting. So just, back to work stuff. It was great having that holiday 2 weeks off. We didn't do a lot. We did a few things, got wet, took an overnight trip. But on Monday, I felt really refreshed and had some clarity. And I was like, okay, I do like my job. So that was really, it was great to have that confirmation that the time off was well spent, even though we didn't have a particular adventure planned. So that's the update I have on horsemanship. Like I said, hopefully I'll have a trailer training session with Bragi today. I will let you know. I'm not sure if I have any other videos from other stuff. Oh, I will share with you some wildlife sightings I've seen. So there has been a great blue heron that has been hanging out by the little pond that I walk by several times a day when I walk out to the barn. You were not able to see the pond this morning because it was so dark. But it's been really fun seeing that great blue heron there when I walk out, and it always flies off when I come by. I'm hoping to let it know that it's safe here. And it doesn't need to use its energy to fly away if it wants to hang out at the pond. And also I saw a coyote yesterday in the back pasture. So it was kind of trotting towards my way. It saw me and the 2 horses, and it stopped and went the other way. So Hopefully people are keeping their pets indoors. I know one of my neighbors has an orange cat that's outside that comes to visit in the barn periodically, and hopefully that orange cat is wily enough to stay safe from the coyote. On that note, I am going to bid you a fond farewell. I hope you enjoy your knitting projects and your pets and your farms if you have them. And I'll see you next time. Take care.